Welcome, gentlemen, to the Loose Dads podcast.
This is Loose Dads from Dadsnet. It's a podcast. It's more than a podcast. It's just a podcast. Look, it's a good podcast, right?
It's not bad.
I'd like to think so.
I quite like it.
With these reprobates here, just having a chat about dad stuff. It's just all about being dads, finding the humour in it, finding the seriousness in it sometimes giving you good advice, sometimes giving you absolutely terrible advice. We can't guarantee one way or another. You just have to wait and see what's going on. Now, it's a bit of a special episode, this one. It's not just one where you're going to get this podcast dropping into your podcast provider. It's also live streamed.
Hooray!
So you might be watching this on the night that we're recording this, as we record it as well, which means that we can't just keep stopping and going, oh, actually, can we do that again? Because that was a bit
That never happens. What are you talking about, Jim? That never happens. Professional. Completely.
I mean, if that had ever happened in the first 80 episodes or however many it is that we've done, so if you are online, if you're watching us on YouTube, on the Dadsnet page, on the Loose Dads page, then hello, welcome to you. If you're not, then hey, that's okay. You don't have to look at our faces while you're listening to this. Sometimes that's preferable, okay? Let's introduce the panel. We've got... we're recording this on the day that Prince William turned 40. So I thought what I'd do was introduce the panel in terms of the royalty that they would be. Careful. Right,
okay, don't go for the obvious one, Jim.
Yeah,
we know that's Brad. So, that's fine.
That was Sparky. Sparky is King Wilhelm Alexander of the Netherlands. Because, do you know why?
Because he's the only
he was really short.
No. That's the trick. I thought you'd fall into that one. No. King Wilhelm Alexander of the Netherlands, up until 5 years ago, he used to co-pilot planes for KLM twice a month. Just as a hobby.
What a guy. What an absolute king.
If you've ever flown KLM, it might have been the King of the Netherlands was there as a co-pilot. It was a hobby, apparently, that helped him unwind from doing all his king stuff. Now, Sparky pretends to be a pilot. He uses this app where he gets to fly planes all over the place, and ironically enough, he does that on the throne as well. So
I do. I am the flight commander, Jim, and thank you for such a good introduction, mate, as always.
Jack would be Queen Boudica of East Anglia, because obviously he lives in East Anglia, so that's quite a good one. Yeah. And you've just been to Italy, so I don't know how many Romans you've killed while you've been there. I'm not sure.
Very few. Disappointingly, really.
Remarkably underwhelming. Oh dear.
Was she also bald?
Possibly. I don't know. I mean, records are sketchy from the time, obviously. She didn't update her Instagram as much as she possibly could have done. And Brad's our foreign representative on the panel. He's a fish out of water. We find out every week that he has got no idea about British traditions. Brad is King Ralph.
Who?
Who's King Ralph? I might learn something here, Jim. Sorry.
I don't know King Ralph.
None of you know King Ralph.
Yes. Welcome.
It's all right, Brad.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Sit down.
To the
I think Jim's done this to make us all feel, more included with Brad.
Let's get rid of the rest of the podcast. We're just going to talk about King Ralph. King Ralph is one of the greatest comedy films of all time, starring John Goodman as Ralph from the title. Basically, there's no spoilers here. This all happens early on. The whole royal family's wiped out in some heroic, not heroic, some tragic. That's offensive.
What side of the fence you sit, Jim?
Some kind of tragic accident, and they find that the next person in line is just this bloke from America called Ralph, and he becomes the king, and hilarity ensues.
Of course.
Okay.
I can't believe no one's watched King Ralph.
No. Was it one that you'd get off the Video Man back in the day, Jim? Is it like, how old is it?
It's a really famous film. It's from the 80s. It's like, I mean, I know I'm a bit older than you lot, but
Sorry,
Yeah,
Jim.
old days then, old
dude,
days.
it's still a sperm in my dad's ball bag then. So
It's like a proper film that would be on ITV2. It will probably be on ITV2. If you look in the next week, I'm sure it'll be on that.
Yeah,
Right.
and the only people watching ITV2 are people who were born pre-80s.
Hey, Jim, people who are listening right now, who are watching live, have seen it. Or at least one person has seen it. And have you got John Goodman mixed up with John Candy?
No, it's definitely John Goodman. Definitely John Goodman. I'm going to Google
You
it
need
now.
to bring Wikipedia,
No.
mate.
Chris is fact checking as we go here.
yeah, that's it.
on
He's like,
Wikipedia.
I'm gonna show that Jim who's fucking boss
King
here.
Ralph. I'm going to put this to the screen so people can see it. Cast John
That's
Goodman.
John Goodman.
John Goodman.
Yeah, okay,
Mm.
okay.
One
There
of
we
the
go.
two excellent Johns, both of them great. Anyway, we're not here to discuss King Ralph. But in fact, I'd love to do the King Ralph podcast, but none of you.
I couldn't be on that, Jim. Clueless. Absolutely no idea, mate.
Chris has conceded. He said he got them mixed up.
Oh.
Gentleman thing to do, Chris.
down.
Chris, if it's any consolation, I wanted you to win.
We're 6 minutes into this live stream podcast episode, and I've already taken down a listener. But Sonia's on saying she doesn't like John Goodman. This is shocking, absolutely shocking. Anyway, this is why I've chosen the royal to represent me. Okay, because with all you young whippersnappers who don't know things that happened in the 80s, feel like the Queen Mum. You probably don't even remember the Queen Mum, right?
I do. No, I do remember the Queen Mum. She's a strong lady. I think you've got similar hair, Jim. No, you have the same perma.
And to be fair, we're both 90% gin as well, so and it works perfectly. Anyway, coming up, we're going to look inside the news, find out how that affects parents. We are going to be answering some questions from Dadsnet members, but first of all, I think it's time to play a game.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's game time!
This is where we play a game every week. Sometimes it's a new game, sometimes it's very loosely based on another game, sometimes it's stolen from another podcast. But this time, we are stealing it from ourselves because we're going to go back to the first game we ever used to play in this slot on the podcast, and we're playing Loose Trumps. And it's a special post-Father's Day Loose Trumps. Now, it's a lot like Top Trumps, but for the Top Trumps Corporation, it's not that much like Top
Nothing
Trumps.
like
Okay.
Yeah.
I give a topic, and you need to give me the answers relating to that topic, and either the highest or the lowest number wins. So the first one is this.
Sorry though, Jack. Did you just have a lion go past your window or something?
What was that?
It was loud, wasn't it?
What was that?
Well, normally I can edit my audio to within an inch of its life.
You just had a chav go past in a Nova.
Jack. This is just it.
Norfolk.
No,
it's
we're in
gone
Norfolk.
downhill.
It was a farmer in a Range Rover.
Of course.
So first question on Loose Dads. We're looking for the, I guess the highest number wins. When did you sleep till on Father's Day? So the one who's got the latest time wins. When did you get that lion? Sparky, I'm going to go to you first. Did you get a lion on Father's Day?
Not really. I would say 8:05, which it is a lay-in, but it was only an hour. Normally, when we're having a lay-in day, we at least let each other go till 9. But yeah, I was up at 8 on Father's Day.
Isn't that considered a massive line for you? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think you wake up early during the week.
Thank you, Brad, for pointing that out for people who might not listen to the podcast regularly. Yeah, I wake up to do a breakfast radio show Monday to Friday. So out of fairness, my fiance should probably let me stay in bed both Saturday and Sunday past 10 a.m. Obviously not, though. But no, 8:05 on Father's Day, but it was a good wake up because Jackson was there going, Daddy, present. So it was good.
We've got an 8:05 then. Brad, when did you sleep till on Father's Day?
8:30.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Taking the crown.
And that was me literally just opting to get out of bed. I could have stayed there, but I just felt like I needed to get out of bed.
Let's see what they've got me. Come on. Right. That was it, wasn't it, Brad? They better have got me a lightsaber. Come on.
Oh, no, we'll get onto that later.
Your kids are older, aren't they? So you do
Yes.
get that. Sometimes it's a bit easier to get a bit of a line. I mean, I say that, my youngest is 5, and he's now getting up earlier than he did when he was 3 and 4. I don't know why that is, but it's just happened
Don't
that
say
way.
that, Jim.
Oh God.
You guys are literally my hope for the future, that you do get sleep again at some point. Don't say that, Jim.
Okay,
Hey.
let's move on.
If it's any consolation, it will change, and sometimes I can just crawl out of bed at like 10:30.
All right.
So
Oh
there is
my
Shut
hope.
up, Brad.
There's hope.
Shut up, Brad.
Whoa. So, Sparky, you don't want to hear from me, and you don't want to hear from Brad. Who do you want to hear from?
Right, no, sorry, Jim. Sorry. Can you tell I'm lacking sleep? I'm a little bit aggy.
Yeah.
Because
he
it might
doesn't
be
like to
me.
med-
It might be me, Sparky, because it was
Oh, right,
5:30.
Whoa! Why?
Yeah. Well, so my birthday was the day before, a couple of days before, and I think my kids were just sort of all, they'd given me as much leeway as they were going to give me.
Yeah.
Plus, I was quite ill. I thought I might have COVID, so I woke up all shivery and
Happy Father's Day.
hot sweats, and then the kids were getting in bed with us, and I'm like, oh. So yeah, happy Father's Day all round.
So you'd basically put all your lion eggs in one basket on your birthday, and then nothing else to redeem. Then that is a shame. Someone's just said Brad is such a good-looking guy.
Honestly,
Did you
I was
see
like,
his
I have
face?
to put that on the screen.
Did you see Brad's face react to that? Play it cool. Play it cool. Play it
No,
cool.
I did
Yeah.
not.
I had to.
As
I
he
had to
came
be
away
quite
from his
suave.
phone.
Like-
On his sock puppet Facebook account that he's just started.
Brad, why have you signed
His
into
burner
Facebook as
account.
Sydney Headley? I mean, why are you writing comments? Oh, come on, man. Sort it out.
Well, thank you very much, Sydney. I'm just going to put that out there.
Um,
Oh, hold on. There's a bit of banter, though.
Hey,
Well,
guys,
here we go.
hold
Here we
on.
go. Paul
I'm
has
just going to play
said
it cool.
Brad is good looking, but Sparky is pretty.
Oh.
I am.
So there we go.
Right.
Oh,
Just to
there we
make
go.
you feel
That's
anything you want me to
Sparky's
be,
trying act
Paul.
all cool.
to be fair, Sparky, we've got some people in the chat who've been up a lot earlier than you. 5:30 says this person. 6:45 says Chris Hammersley as well. For me, it was 8:30 as well. So me and Brad
nice.
tie. We tie for this one.
Hmm.
But yeah, I
Well
for
done.
some reason decided to get out of bed. I was like, I need to get out and do, and then I realized I could have just stayed in, and that was a shame. I wasted the opportunity, and they don't come round often. But yeah,
Once a year, really.
yeah, well, exactly, absolutely. Next question: how many presents did you get on Father's Day? The most wins, obviously. Let's go to Jack first of all. How many presents did you get for Father's Day?
3. But only one of them was for me. The other 2 were for my children. So every year, Danny gets us matching somethings.
Cute.
So matching shirts, matching pajamas, whatever it is. This year it was matching shirts from M&S. You might have seen them on the likes of Man vs. Baby. Also had the same matching shirts, and they were all over social media. So I unwrapped these 3 presents, and one is this shirt, and I'm like, oh, nice, a little Hawaiian shirt. Wonder what my second and third presents are. Oh, not for me.
Oh, dude, honestly, that is such a disappointment.
You would think on Father's Day of all days, all the presents would be for you. They're just very much channeling
It
in.
should be, right?
Yeah.
It should
Here's,
be, right?
here's a quick
But
question,
again,
though.
because my birthday was a couple of days before,
Right.
everyone's sort of like spent with the birthday gift.
I was going to say, is it like when someone's got a birthday like near Christmas, and then people are like, oh, we're just going to combine and as like a birthday / Christmas sort of thing? Is that how Father's Day rolls for you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
That's a
my
shame,
dad's.
dude.
It's my dad's birthday on Saturday. There's no way I get him a Father's Day present as well.
Come on. Cost of living these days. Come on, Dad.
Exactly.
Don't- Chill out.
Have you seen it? Brad, how many presents did you get? Oh, 0.
Oh, what? Have we got a sad
Zero.
button that we can press, like for sad
Yeah,
buttons to
yeah.
play out?
Brad, please remember that although we are live streaming this now, this is predominantly an audio medium.
Yeah.
So you do need to say your answers as well as mine.
True. Okay, I'm sure everyone would have gathered from everyone's
Your
disappointment.
silence.
It was a 0. It was a 0. Absolutely nothing.
Oh.
I know. It gets to that stage, right? No, to be fair though, it's kind of Shay said to me like, "Oh, is there anything in particular that I want?" And I'm kind of like, Yeah, but it's a bit expensive and it's not practical. So and I can't really send the boys down to McDonald's to start working at their age because technically this really should be them buying it.
Hold on, Brad. Like a Father's Day gift is a 20 quid gift maximum. Like, what are you expecting from the kids? Why do you got to get a job at Mackey's?
Hold on, why has it got to be 20 quid maximum?
Yeah, who set that limit?
Yeah, this isn't like a
Hold
Secret
on.
Santa 5
Apart
quid.
from my wife.
Guys, this ain't Mother's Day. It's not a 50 quid budget. You know what
Ah.
I mean? Just chuck that one out there. Just
You
hey,
went there.
in the comments, people will back that. Back me.
So
You
what
can
was
only
it that you
hope.
wanted that was so expensive then, Brad? What was going through your mind?
No, you know what? It's absolute geek talk. It's Lego.
Stop. Hold on. Watch Sydney has left the chat.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's it.
He's
yeah.
good looking, but he's a massive nerd. Oh,
Yeah. I mean, here I am in a Joker t-shirt. Come on.
Right, what is it, Brad? Come
I
on,
thought
get
it
it
was a
out.
Grateful Dead t-shirt.
Well, no, it's the Millennium Falcon Lego set, but that's a couple £100, so it's not practical.
Yeah, I'm with your family on this one. Sod
Yeah.
you. No,
And
you're
I
not
did,
with-
and I agree 100%. She said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I know what I want, but it's not practical. It's expensive." So,
You know
yeah.
what? That's in keeping with Brad's your kind of, I guess, character. Your reputation is you're always honest. You're brutally honest, aren't you? Even if it means you're done out of a present, because you could have gone for something achievable and got a thing, but you didn't.
Yeah,
and I,
yeah.
in a way, admire that sort of.
Yeah. Thank
But
you.
also-
It was either shot down or a pair of socks or a Hawaiian t-shirt with kids that have matching ones.
Oh,
Right, yeah,
I'd
okay.
take that over
Yeah.
nothing. I've got a new shirt. What have you got?
New hopes and dreams.
Sparky, how many presents
A
did you
new
get?
hope. I like it.
Oh, very good. Yes.
Nerd gags. I got one present for Father's Day. I got a mug. It was well cute. It's just another one of those mugs. I say another one. I did have 2 Father's Day ago. What's my second Father's? I don't even know how my child is. I've had one before. It was when he was born. I got it. Yeah, it's lovely. It's got a picture of me and Jackson, a recent picture of us with all the things he loves on the back. Yeah, lovely.
By the way, who did win World's Greatest Dad this year? Because it's quite often me, but not apparently not this year. So.
No, I think Sparky won the UNT mug with the
with
black
the-
handle. Yeah.
Rightly so, as well. Rightly so.
From your son, though, that was a burn.
Oh, he's only 2.5 and he knows who I am.
I mean, kids are so aware nowadays. They really are. I got 2 presents. They were both shirts, and neither of them fit me. So that was good.
Great.
It was so nice that my wife, she's a vintage seller. She's got vintage sellers who sell kind of vintage men's clothing. And so she brought in some that she got off her mate, and the kids chose the best ones and gave them to me. Neither of them fit because I've been eating too many pies. So-
But it's the thought that counts, and that's what Father's Day is all about, guys. Not how many presents you get. All right.
Yeah, in a way, I can't. I mean, do I win this because Jack got 1 present for himself, but 2 for the kids, and I got 2 for myself, but I can't use either of them? I don't know.
Hold on, just check VAR. Yeah, Jim, you win. You win.
Excellent. There we go. Perfect. And this final one, this is the last question on Loose Trumps. How many times did you have to parent on Father's Day? Sparky, how many was it for you?
Yep, all the time. Like, I woke up and she's like, "Well, I was up the hour earlier, so now you're in charge." No,
Oh, that's not how that works. That's not how Father's Day works. Here, I'm giving you the gift of a lion, but now you have to pay that back instantly on the same day.
That is a bit unfair. No, it's just we had a hell of a weekend with him because he is fully in the no stage of everything. We went to the Sea Life Centre in Birmingham. We took the grandparents to make it extra special for Father's Day, and he knowed his way out of the door like, no fish, no sharks, and like we travelled there for him. So, and he just hated the whole situation. We got in a mood and drove home from Birmingham, and so it's just been a tough weekend. So we just had to coach each other through. Some of the parenting was parenting SJ through the stresses of parenting.
parenting, right?
So extra parenting.
Great. Happy Father's Day, me.
Brad, how about you? How much parenting did you have to do?
Less than one.
Oh, really? No presents,
Sorry,
but no
for the
parenting.
viewers. For the viewers out there, that's another 0. Sorry, should I say listeners? The non-viewers out there, it's another 0.
Yeah.
Brad, you are
I'll get
another
this
kid
right,
in your
Jack.
house, though,
I'll
aren't
get
you?
this right. Oh, yeah.
You're like
absolutely.
the third kid, the third boy.
Yeah. I'm not going to debate that. You're right, 100%. The thing is, we try on like Mother's Day and Father's Day to kind of give the gift of trying to let the other person not be a parent for the day.
And that's the great. We all know, right? A mug is good, but that is the greatest gift.
You're not having to be a
You,
parent.
you know
All
what?
day
Being able to sit back and not have to make anyone's breakfast, lunches, or dinners, or any of that. Not even having to make myself breakfast, lunches, or dinners. It was literally just a chill day of, hey, what do you want to do? I don't know. I want to be lazy and watch TV all day and forget that I have kids. Okay. Boom.
Oh, sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Brad's winning so far, I think. Jack, how much parenting did you have to do?
I was feeling smug. I had a percentage in my head, 50% less than normal,
Right.
because we were at my mum's in the morning. So I just, once the kids woke me up at 5:30, I sent them into my mum, and then just let her sort of deal with them until we left at lunchtime. So that was good. But Brad's come in with a big fat 0, and now I'm sad I had to do any at all.
Now you're going to have a strong word with Danny and go, well, why don't you care about me as much as Shay cares about me?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
the right thing to do as soon as the podcast is finished, Jack.
Yeah, that's how to deal with it. Definitely. Yeah. See, this when I said there was bad advice, this is what I was talking about. Okay. This is what I had in mind. For me, I had to do quite a bit of parenting. Because Jill said to me a bit before, she often works on a Sunday and then she does roller derby as well. And she was like, oh, I won't do those because it's Father's Day. And I was like, it's fine. It's not that special a day. Go out and do it. Thinking it isn't that special a day, but also I can use this as currency, right, later at some point. And then she was still like in two minds about it. And then at one point she went, oh, but actually, you just went out on Mother's Day, didn't you? I was like, oh, shit, yeah, I did. Yeah.
So she banked it.
This is the currency. This is the return. This is the
Yeah.
debt being paid. So I had to take the kids swimming, which is delightful, obviously. And not stressful in any way, shape, or form. It's one of the funnest things you can do with your kids.
You nearly kept a straight face then, Jim. You nearly held
Almost.
it together.
Hey, the people listening to this podcast won't know, right?
No.
True. We're getting too into this live hype. We're one in, guys, and we're getting
Just the
excited
viewers.
about the
It's just
video.
viewers.
No, this
viewers.
is what I do every week. I do the things that, and I show the real story with my eyes, but to the listeners, they don't know. But now we've got a whole section of the audience who are going to know when I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Oh, your
Half the
cover's
time.
blown.
Now, as the man in charge of the buttons here, I'm just going to press this one because I felt like this needed
Okay.
to be shown on screen.
Yes.
Where Sydney says, "Jack, I love the accent." So
Jim, have
I'm
you had any
in charge
compliments
of
yet?
showing those. So that one will stay there for a little while.
Yeah, hang on.
Hold
So,
on, though.
yeah.
If you look a couple below, though, Sydney
don't-
has requested not to be on screen, and now you've just gone against her wishes.
Okay.
But for a good reason.
Right. Can I
see.
just say,
see.
Brad's got a compliment, Sparky's got a compliment, Jack's got a compliment. Just saying. Absolutely, just saying. Just leaving that hanging in the
Should we
air.
go to an ad break?
No, I'm not going to go to an ad break until someone compliments me. I could be waiting here for a while. On the way, we'll look inside the news, find out how it affects parents. This is Loose Dads from Dadsnet. It's Loose Dads from Dadsnet's podcast with four dads sitting around having a chat and doing some stuff and, basically making it up as we go along. You can find us on social media. We're on Facebook. Just search for Loose Dads Podcast and you'll get to our group. Or you go to Instagram and it's at Loose Dads Pod. And then you can connect with us and insult us all you like, share our stuff and tell the world about us as well. That's also possible. But, mainly insults and stuff. Anyway, we're going to have a look inside the news now, find out how it affects parents. This is Loose Dads. So the big story of this week is the rail strike that's happening around the country. It's chaos on the rails, as people keep putting it. No, for those of us who work from home, who cares? But there you go. We don't have to sort out our commutes. In fact, actually, is there anyone here? Brad, has it affected you?
Yeah, it just means I don't have to go in 2 days this week.
Well, then it's worked
That's
out as
it.
a proper bonus for you, right?
Yeah. Not at all, dude.
Because I work from home, Jack, you work from home, and Sparky, we know, goes in the car early and wakes up his son as early as possible so as to annoy his missus.
Hey,
Yeah, driving his Hummer.
hey, no, hold on. Well, I've had to sell it since the cost of diesel's gone up so much. Do they do diesel Hummers? I don't know. I lost in that.
No
Do they do
idea.
anything other than diesel Hummers?
Well, no, I mean, imagine they're petroleum because they're literally the thing that's going to destroy the planet more, right?
Well, I don't think diesel's particularly great. Is
Oh,
it,
well, I
for
know,
the-
but remember when they sold it to us as being great? Like,
Yeah.
come on, mate. I'm not the fool here, Jim.
The latest information is that no, I'm sure they're not running on cheese and wine like Prince Charles's car, which still one of the most fascinating stories of the last year or so. And thank you to Brad for
course.
bringing that to us. Was it Brad who brought that to us? I think it was.
Yeah, I can't remember. I just remember being an absolutely brilliant article.
the car and cheese and wine.
I mean, yeah, right now with the cost of fuel, I'd love to have a car that ran on that. I'm sure that would end up being cheaper.
Well, it might do. There's some point where the discount shops can kind of bringing down the wine and the cheese to such a level that it's cheaper than petrol, because that's very expensive.
And if you think about it, Jack would end up having his petrol for free because he always manages to convince some old lady in the queue to throw some money at him because he hasn't got enough. So he could end up.
There's been at least
Vouchers.
There have been
Oh,
at least 2 occasions that we've talked about on this podcast, so it might have been more in the last year or so,
Yeah.
where Jack has fleeced an old lady to either pay for his shopping or to give him a voucher to get some money off his shopping, and that's how he's dealing with the cost of living. And you know what? Whatever way gets you through, right?
All about
I'm
the
like the
hustle.
new Martin Lewis.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing with a rail strike. After so many people have sort of discovered the joys of working from home, that I guess it's less of an impact than it might have had. Obviously, a lot of people still need to get to work. And, the debate rages about whether they should be on strike, they shouldn't be on strike. And, I don't think we're going to come up with a definitive answer here today. So let's talk about nightmare train journeys. Has anyone ever had a nightmare train journey? I had one in East Anglia in Jack's neck of the woods.
When you were here recently.
No, it was many years ago. They might have upgraded the trains by now, but let's face it, probably not. I was living in Leeds, but my parents were living in Colchester in Essex. And if you went through London and then up to Leeds, it was very expensive. And I was a student. So what you could do is go to Ipswich and then get Ipswich on the train that goes to Peterborough, which takes approximately 6 days to get there. And then get the train from Peterborough to Leeds, and it cost like half the amount of money. So I did that. Unfortunately, I went home after having had a couple of lunchtime beverages once on the train from Ipswich to Peterborough, the one that takes so long. I mean, it was something like 2.5 hours, 3 hours or something. It was so long, stopped at every little place. There were no toilets. And I started needing a wee.
On the train?
Yeah, no toilets on the train. It was one of those that's like just literally... It looks like, when they have kind of almost old-fashioned coach seats or old-fashioned bus seats in them. And it was 2.5 hours of absolute agony. And there were points when I was like, I wonder how long it's going to stop at each station if I can jump out and go for a wee behind a wall or something like that. But by the time I got to Peterborough, I thought my bladder was going to absolutely explode. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, I managed to do it without wetting myself.
Congratulations,
Good,
grown
Thank
up.
you.
good news. Good news.
It sounds
I
like
think
imagine
my,
if you'd had a toddler in that situation.
I just, what would you do? What would you do if you had a kid with you? Definitely.
Fresh potty
that-
trained.
I think he was imagining he was having a tiddler.
But let's also just put into perspective. If you had a child with you, you probably would have had a spare few nappies that you could have just peed into.
But what if they're, at my kid's age now, 5 and 8, and obviously they're not with nappies. What would you do? I'd not really thought about that because when
Often blame it on the kids.
what my son does is
It's on the floor.
definitely is just go, I need a wee. Oh, really? Can you wait 10 minutes? No, it's about to come out. You didn't think to tell me earlier? No. I like to leave the surprise until it's as late as possible. So yeah, it would just be. I mean, I guess parents must have got caught in that situation, and that's why the train stunk slightly weird. But,
Yeah, no, don't you just do, the old emergency? I saw someone doing it today with their daughter, the old emergency hang them over the drain, but just out of the pull down window that you used to have in the train. You said it was a classic. She's like, come on, let me know if you see a signal coming along and I'll pull you back in for a second. Oh, okay.
Well, could you imagine if there's anyone in like further carriages that got their windows open or suddenly just getting oh, I didn't know it was going to rain today.
It's raining. Like, if you want to talk about nightmare train journeys, and it's not a journey where we were delayed or anything. It was actually a train journey with my dad to London. We used to go and visit my auntie in London when I was a kid. My dad, being a African man with a very loud voice, it like reverberates around the train carriage. And I was about, 12, 13, and he decided for some reason that the Portsmouth to London Waterloo was the train to have the birds and the bees chat with me and my big brother on, right? As I said, big, loud African voice. And he goes, and I will never forget this sentence in my life, right? Because I think about it and I chuck, sometimes when you just laugh to yourself almost. He said, "Hey, Mark, I know it can be a confusing time right now, and you might be getting a lot of hard-ons." And you don't know what to do. He's like, "It's perfectly normal, son." Okay, and I was old enough to think, "Dad, shut up." The whole train can hear this. I think he'd had a whiskey, but so there's a heads up for any dads who might be thinking about doing the birds and bees chat. Check you're not on a public train.
I mean, if that had been now, someone would have been live tweeting that conversation, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, that's it. Oh, good old Dad. Anyway, happy Father's Day, Dad. Hope the gout gets better.
Was he trying to do like a train into a tunnel analogy? Was that what was going on?
I do not know where it came from, but honestly, I will never forget that. That's my most awkward train journey I've ever been on.
And don't switch tracks halfway through the tunnel.
It was an accident, honestly.
It is dark in there.
Jack, do you have a news story?
Yes.
Is it a good one?
Bring over my notes. Well, I liked it.
Good. Well, then that's passed the test because that's the rigorous test that we have on Loose Dads.
Right.
I'll
It
allow
might
it.
be half good. Stand by.
Okay. A British mum of 4 is set to marry a US murderer serving 40 years in prison, and she has never met him. That's the story. That's the
Presumably,
headline.
because if she had met him, she might not still be around.
Well, yes. So they started up like this, pen pals with prisoners program. It's a lot of P's, isn't it? And apparently they spoke on the phone every day for 17 days and then told each other they loved each other. And he proposed over the phone, and it was very romantic. And now they're getting married, but she's never met him.
Okay, this sounds
Do you
like real love. So this is
Do you
great.
think she's dying to meet him?
Oh,
Nice.
very good. Yeah.
Nice,
I mean,
nice.
are they actually going to get married, or did just someone get confused when she said she was engaged because they were
on the phone.
phone, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so
You don't really hear that phrase anymore now, do you?
You don't, because landlines aren't really a thing.
Yeah.
I think it upgraded to user busy, Jim. The iPhone upgraded it to
Yeah.
user busy. It's not
Okay.
engaged anymore.
Well,
But what I
No, carry on. I was just gonna reminisce again about phones. I was gonna take this well off track. You don't need me to do this. If you wanted to know, I was gonna talk about giving 3 rings when you got somewhere, but let's not do that. You just send a WhatsApp now. And notice I didn't say text because 2 weeks ago I said something about texting and everyone had a go at me. Yeah. Jack, continue, please.
So the thing that struck me is that, okay, like, first of all, you focus on the she's marrying a prisoner that she's never met and he's a murderer and all. But then I went back to the very beginning of it. Mum of 4. She has had 4 kids with someone else or multiple other people. I don't like to cast aspersions. Whose children are now going to have as their new stepdad a murderer.
She's not learning any lessons.
How would you deal with that?
Well, I think you certainly wouldn't be arguing over who owes what in the kids, would you? You wouldn't go, hey, actually, you've not paid enough money for. Oh, it's okay because Barry the butcher is going to come and get me if I complain too much.
Yeah, you're not missing a child support payment, are you?
No, exactly. And you're keeping well up to date with that. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Are they all going to see him next Father's Day? I don't know.
Well, I don't. He's currently serving 40 years for second-degree murder.
Yeah,
so
but I mean,
they're probably not going to see him for
They
a
could
while.
have a visit. I mean, I'm sure you can visit, can't you? Behind one of those screens where they talk through the phone things. And
Nice to meet you, new dad.
Yeah.
It's got another phone reference in there, Jim. The old of the movies.
apparently, every episode I talk about old phone times. So that's what one of the comments has come up saying.
Oh, you literally finally got a compliment, Jim, and there you go.
No, it's not a compliment.
You think of Jim, you think of old telephones. There you go. One where you went like that. Ring,
In the
ring.
nicest possible way, it's an observation, but I think it's one that suggests, hey, try something new. But anyway, yes, I don't know. How would you feel if your kids were suddenly, you were sharing your kids with a murderer? Because I saw a story today. I was reading a
One of the
story
great hypothetical.
that- the amount of times we've had this conversation in the pub is amazing.
Oh, so murderous.
There was a really lovely story about Zoe Deschanel, the actor, and about how she posted a picture on Father's Day on Instagram of her current boyfriend and her ex-husband, and they each had she had 2 children with her ex-husband, and each of the children was on the shoulders of one of these blokes, and she's like, oh, so glad that we're all together and we get on, and it's beautiful. That's not going to happen in this case, is it? That's going to be difficult, not just because there are 4 children and 2 adults. I mean, that's
Stacked on shoulders on shoulders.
yeah,
on
exactly,
shoulders.
which wouldn't be the most dangerous thing about it. So
I would say after the difficulties of coming out of a relationship where you've had 4 kids together, probably best to try just go for something a little bit more simple than a murderer first. Start off with a barista or something, like the guy you've had.
Go for a nice guy.
Yeah, it's just-
What I'm going to say is your usual type hasn't got you far. So
how do you know that her old type was in any way,
Well,
the usual?
no, that's true.
Oh, here's
true.
here's a
She
good
might be
quote.
married to a vicar.
Or the previous
That's true.
or the
Oh,
previous
well,
father
I'm
may no
sorry
longer be
if
in the
she's
picture
Watching.
because he is a murderer too,
Or he's
could
been
be.
Has been murdered.
or has been
Okay,
murdered.
this is getting elaborate. I don't know what's more elaborate, this news story or the journey we've taken it on.
I don't know if we've learned any lessons from that, but we don't always have to. That's okay. That's fine.
Hold on,
That's fine.
hold on. Al wants us to always put like a dadhood spin on this. How would you feel if you were a convicted murderer in prison and you couldn't see your children? Go, Jack.
No, I've already done the fatherhood spin. That's why I was like, oh, what would you do if your kids were being raised by a murderer? We don't have to do like 12.
Brad, we're
fathers
live
spins.
streaming and you're
No,
not even
but
watching or listening.
I am, but I'm saying if he was in prison, he's now got to do it from the perspective of the actual murderer. Then you do it from the perspective of someone else who's
Yeah. Right. So
you're in prison. You've murdered someone.
I'm in prison.
Yeah.
And what? I can't see my 4 kids.
Yes.
Who aren't your kids because they're your stepkids, but still,
Yeah.
you know, no bonus in a way sometimes.
Well,
But you're going to be there for
Given-
the man.
okay. So if I'm this man, I've never met the woman I'm marrying.
Yes.
I'm probably not that bothered about meeting her kids just yet.
I'll tell you what he
Fine,
wants to
Daniel,
meet
answer.
before he meets the kids. Let me tell you. If he's been in jail, there's something else he's thinking about. Maybe visit one. All right. Sorry. I imagine it's lonely in there.
Yeah, it'd be the shortest conjugal ever.
Sparky, what's your news story?
Jim's eye roll.
I'm not going to. Sure, I'm taking us to a safer place now, Jibes. But
Oh,
please
great.
tell
At
me.
least we haven't got Brad still to come after that with his usual story of debauchery.
So please tell me there's a story out today about a mum that got over involved in a school sports day. Her kid begged her to please get involved in the egg and spoon race. She was at said sports day in a dress, starts legging it along to do the egg and spoon race, trips. I can't even speak. Sorry, it's because I was going to say falls arse over tit. And in this picture, she looks like she's mooning the entire school with a thong on, and her dress has come up over her head. And I just don't know how you're ever going to get over that. You've got to go parents' evening after that.
Okay, it's bad enough that it happened. It is bad enough that it happened. It's bad enough that someone took a photo, but now that photo has gone into the international press. It's online.
Yeah.
And it is basically, it does look like she has just knelt down and showed her ass to the school. Which, I'll be honest, is frowned upon at my kid's school. I don't know about your kid's
Like,
school.
imagine if she's on the PTA, she's got to quit immediately, right? You've got that. You've got if you just any sort of school bring and buy sale or anything. Every time she goes in, oh, remember that was a sports day woman. We've literally seen everything. You know? I could tell you probably how many stitches she had when giving birth. You know what I mean? Sorry, Jim, another eye roll. But you know, look how like. Our knickers are still on, but really, that can't show more of yourself to a school than she is in that picture.
Without getting arrested.
Definitely about
Without
that. But I did wonder though, if any of you boys, here you go.
That sounded like you were speaking from experience.
Yeah.
You know, you actually can't show more of yourself to a school than that.
I zoomed in on that picture.
They gave me a percentage, and no lower.
No, but, I do wonder though if any of you had any sort of like embarrassing situations at school where your kids have done anything embarrassing, or you know, and you're dreading going to sports to parents' evening because you're like, I'm going to have to look at a teacher in the eye. And
There was I just
Not
avoided
the arse.
I just avoided something, and I think I might have told you about it when we were when we weren't recording. But I was walking to school a couple of weeks ago, and I looked down, and I just picked a t-shirt out of my drawer. Looked down, and it was a roller derby t-shirt from the Roller Derby World Cup that I'd got. And it was celebrating one of the teams at the Roller Derby World Cup. It was the Russian team. And the T-shirt basically just said Team Russia, which at the moment is not quite the message that you want to give. And
we've got to change your name to Poot Jim. Like that should be Vladimir Poot Jim right there in his Team Russia t-shirt.
And that's the terrible thing, is because the Russian roller derby team, they're no fans of Putin. You know, they're very much not kind of part of the established. They're not, what do they call them? Plutocrats or whatever. I can't remember. I've forgotten the word.
They're not Putin in the work.
No, they're not Putin in the work. You know, but it's very difficult to explain that, to go, actually, this is quite counterculture in Russia. You know, I'm just basically wearing a t-shirt that says Team Russia. So thankfully I had a cardigan that I kind of pulled over it, because you know the gap of the cardigan didn't quite fill it, but I just pulled it over the top, dropped the kids at school, ran off back home and got changed, but very close to being cancelled, to be honest.
That's awkward. Brad, surely you've said something inappropriate to a teacher, like surely. No.
Clean as a whistle, dude.
When you're going into school, does Shay have the word of you though before, like you're going in, like Brad,
Behave yourself. Don't
Yeah,
say
please.
anything inappropriate.
don't call out teachers. Don't,
When you walk in, just look down on the floor. Don't raise your head up, and just gently usher the kids into the gate. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Absolutely no horrific stories, thankfully.
Okay. And yeah, Jack, yours aren't there yet. Are you?
Which leads us quite nicely on to
Oh,
Brad's story.
Jim looks rather perplexed, though.
But I'm just perplexed that out of all of us, you haven't got a story. Surely,
yeah, I think it's like I was expecting you to say, yeah, well, I once pinned a teacher up against the wall, a male teacher by the scruff of the neck, and said, "Oi, if you don't let my Logan do what the blooming Ellie wants in class, I'm taking you out." Like, I know, Brad. I'm not painting you in an aggressive way, but I just imagine.
I just
Man,
love
you
it.
don't take no BS.
You pinned him up against the wall.
yeah. There's a reason the four of us don't meet up in person, isn't there? Because we're all scared of Brad, and we just don't want to tell him. Brad,
That's why when I did meet up with any of you, it was Jim on the beach and it was Sparky at Legoland. You know, the ones who were smaller than me that I can.
Okay, Brad, what's your story? Go on then, give us it.
All right, so mine is a little bit of nostalgia in here. Do you remember, good few weeks ago, months, maybe even a year, of the story I shared with you guys about a lady called Steph Matto from Connecticut who would bottle her farts and sell her farts and was making ludicrous money from bottling her farts?
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So fate would have it that she messed that whole endeavor up because she was eating a super high fiber diet to produce the farts and basically ended up messing up her intestinal system. So she had to give it up. Ha! But not for this one. She's on it. She is an entrepreneur, or she used to call herself a fart-trepreneur. I mean, that's a really bad dad joke.
I could be
quite
one
work,
of
does
those.
it?
Yeah, I've just not been signed
No.
yet, but I could be one of those. Trust me.
But basically, what she does now, guys, is she sits in the sun, has a little tube that she holds against one of her breasts, and she collects boob sweat. And she now sells boob sweat.
And how many bottles have you bought?
Only 472, but Shay
Okay.
told me to stop now. It was getting a bit much. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just
that
trying to
pres-
say. Sorry, Jim.
He's going, particularly good vintage, that one.
Yeah.
was that the present that you wanted for Father's Day? Really, it wasn't the Millennium Falcon, was it? That was
Yeah,
the one you
it-
couldn't bring yourself to say.
Yeah. But you know, the thing is, as you guys were saying, I really don't like it when she's obviously clearly been wearing fake tan because you can taste it coming through in the sweat. It's just
Whoa.
See, this
You
is, we should be, I mean, it's slightly weird, obviously, but we should be, honoring adaptability in business. Everyone's had to pivot,
Yeah.
haven't they? And when life gives you some bowel issue, get sweaty boobs is what Alan Sugar said that on The Apprentice once, I think. So
well.
Make sweat and aid.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, with how life has been going and how lazy I've gotten over lockdown and all of that, dude, I've got my own boobs, so I can generate my own sweat.
And it's a heat wave at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah,
It's ridiculous, though.
Rinsing out my shirts.
Men will buy boob sweat, but no one will be wanting to purchase any bum crack sweat because that's what the worst thing a man produces, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But
Scrape my balls.
any odorless grot.
Do you know what? I feel bad for like small authors who
Where's this come from?
who spend years of their life crafting novels that no one buys, but people buy boob sweat in their masses.
yeah, no, that makes sense. No, I wondered where we were going, but no, good point. It's capitalism for you, isn't it? There you go. That's
Here we go.
Abolish it. I'm going to make a video stabbed. Abolish capitalism now.
I got told this week that I should go and live in China, by the way, because apparently I don't like free speech because
Is it by a listener of this podcast?
well, I don't think there will be now. We had a bit of a falling out on Twitter. I basically said that a lie doesn't have equal weight to the truth in a debate. And this person seemed to think that all opinions were equal. And if I didn't believe that, I should go and live in China. But I've not moved yet.
Oh, wait. Opinions are all equal. Truth and fact is where it varies and differs, right? And you can have a stupid opinion or an accurate one, but the accurate one is obviously laden with truth, so that is a better one,
more valid.
Well, they're not all equal then, because it's more valid.
Hey,
but like when you're trying to argue something, if you're using lies, that's not right. Is what I suggested, but I apparently need to go and move to China.
come on, Jim. You woke what name?
I know, that's
Really something else then.
You woke marshmallow, you.
But yeah, there you go. I mean, do they have entrepreneurs who sell boob sweat? I don't know. I've not done the research yet.
But can we just say this is one episode of Dragon's Den I really do want to see. I'm telling you already, Deborah Meaden's out. All right, she's out. She's not interested.
Peter Jones, well in.
Let me have another taste of that. Hold on, I'll decide. I'm not going to make you an offer.
This is Loose Dads from Dadsnet. Oligarchs was the word I was trying to think of about 5 minutes ago, but
There it
I
is.
couldn't think of it. And on the way, we're going to look at some of the questions that Dadsnet members have given to the Dadsnet that they want answering, and we are going to scramble around in the dark and try and do it ourselves. Maybe badly, maybe we'll hit some gold. Who knows? It's coming up next on Loose Dads. This is Loose Dads from Dadsnet. This is where we get four dads sitting around having a chat. We've got Jack, we've got Brad, we've got Sparky, and we've got me. I am Jim. And what we do is we delve into the amazing resource that is the Dadsnet online forums, where people can join up for free. There are ones that are private, there are ones that are public, there are ones that are about different interests, ones for different places. But wherever they are, we trawl them to find the best questions that are asked, and they can be anonymous. We don't ever give out anybody's names. You can come to us at the Loose Dads podcast group if you want and ask a question. If you want us to answer it on the podcast, and we will do that for you. So let's have a delve into the big question of the week.
The big question of the week.
The big question of the week.
Can we just give Jack a little bravo for all of these videos and like, well done, dude. I'm enjoying all of them.
Well, thank you.
Well done,
So
mate.
if you're listening on the audio bit, you need to watch
Christ, I
us
forgot
next
about that.
week.
Sorry.
Well, no, that's fine, because I was going to do a slick tease to get people to join in with the
Chat to the
live stream
FOMOs.
next week. Yeah,
Come on.
Tuesday. See what you're missing out. Going live on the Dadsnet Facebook page and the YouTube and all that sort of stuff as well. Or I imagine these videos will be there for people to watch again. Will they, if they want to, Jack?
One of those questions we should have asked before we started 53 minutes ago.
Don't like to just announce things without actually checking they exist, but there we go. Anyway, if they're not, I mean, it's not going to ruin anyone's day, is it? They're not going to, I couldn't see four blokes talking. Oh no, boo.
Hold on, Jim, that's not selling it, mate. That's not selling it. We said we were trying.
We're supposed to be billing this as part of people's routine, Jim, so they would really miss it if we weren't here on a
Right.
Tuesday night recording.
No, but what I mean is the live streamers. It's part of their routine. The people who catch up later, they're less important. And
But please still listen. I think what Jim's trying to say is we really appreciate you taking the time to download our podcast.
that's not what I was trying to say at all. I stand by what I said. We have one child, says this message, and we're currently in the process of trying to save to sell our one-bedroom London flat and buy a bigger place. So they've got one child in a one-bedroom London flat. With the cost of living near breaking point, we're struggling. But now we both want another baby. We're in our mid to late 30s. We don't want to wait until we move because that could take a couple of years. Do we just suck it up and have 2 kids in a one-bedroom flat? What's your answers? Do you have any advice? I mean, my initial answer would be no. But there might be some more nuanced answers. I don't know.
I feel like the fact that this person has to ask means that even if we gave them a nice, coherent answer, it still wouldn't make sense to them. So I think we should move on, Jim, because it's just ludicrous.
Good night. The fact that they've considered it just means it's ludicrous, Brad. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like, I mean, come on, you're in a 1-bedroom flat and you want to now have a second kid.
Oh.
I mean, for me, I can't imagine it. I lived in a 1-bedroom London flat, me and my missus, for a while, and it was too small for us. To have a child in there as well, and then to add another child in there is, to me, I mean, you know, I guess each to their own, but for me, it's a hard no. I'm out. Just like
the positivity
So
you could think of is at least you wouldn't have to get a next to me cot because it's going to be next to you anyway.
you're all next to each other. Yeah.
Because like, you wouldn't have to go far when they cry in the night. Like, I'm just trying to really think of the positives for you.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you know, I'm sure it is possible, and if you're willing to sacrifice ever being able to move without standing on dummies or toys or bottles, then fine.
the toys that you've got to. We just have a room which has just got his toys in. Like, it's taken over. Like, no way. Oh.
No sane person.
That's kind of rubbing it in, though, isn't it, Sparky?
What I'm saying is that used to be our lounge, Jack. Is what I'm saying is, and it's
All right.
they got a 1-bedroom and it's bad. Like,
So I think the answer is like just a pretty hard no across the board, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the
Solid
only thing
no.
is, we were talking about this last week, I think, was it?
Yeah,
when
the
we were
second
talking about
kid.
the second kid and there's no good time. This might be the thing that
The
contradicts
exception.
that. The exception.
hold on.
But I guess if you're really willing to do it, but the chaos that goes with the second child. I mean, yeah.
Having a second child it's not doubling the difficulty of parenthood. It's like squaring it. That's the way I always think about it. It wasn't 2 + 2. Oh no, wait. Hold on, that's a bad example. It wasn't 10 + 10 difficulty. It didn't end up being 20 difficult. It became 10 times 10 difficult. It became 100 difficult.
Yeah.
Stop selling. You're selling it to me, Jack. Like,
Because you had your first child handicap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had all of the other crap on top of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There we go.
'Cause that's
Comments are backing us
yeah,
up.
Paul
Actually,
from Canada saying hell no. Like, even though they've got massive houses in Canada, so they've got all the room they need. I don't
Do they even have 1-bedroom flats in Canada?
all that space. Why would you have a 1-bedroom flat in Canada?
1-bedroom flat's called the ensuite.
Hey,
there we go.
Oh, and they're a bit French as well.
Because on a serious note, how much would that impact on the older child? You know, having the smaller child around, you know, there'd be no way of, you know, when the child is crying, that'll wake up the older child. It's going to be cramped conditions. People are going to be angry and cross all the time. So, yeah, I think we're saying no, aren't we?
You know, they could. You know, have you ever seen SAS Who Dares Wins? And there's like the final episode where they play crying baby noise into headphones in them for like 8 hours. Yeah, they could change the final stage of SAS Who Dares Wins to this scenario that you're suggesting, and no one would win it. I'm like, all the best to you. If you and your partner love each other enough to think that you can get through that, like, go for it, but don't go.
So I've got a question for you. On a related tangent, I recently saw on Rightmove a houseboat for sale for £34,000. And I've suddenly been thinking, well, look, we could sell this house, buy that outright, live there, mortgage free, right, for a few years, just save money, live on a houseboat, mortgage free.
Yeah, that's the bit you're getting my attention with that. But houseboat, crammed
but
in
you
with
could-
kids.
You could also say I could buy a shed, or I could buy a garage, or a lock,
Or a van.
Yes.
truck, or a
But
big
that's not as fun.
An old American school bus. Everyone's doing it on TikTok, Jack.
And then what's going to happen is, whilst you've sold your house and then you've bought this place, the house prices are probably going to continue doing this. Well, what's
Yeah,
return value
I'll
on
be
a
able to-
boat going to be?
I'll be able to save.
You say that, but you'll want to go and spend the money. You want to go and live life a little bit now because you'll be
What? No, I
flush.
won't. What? What? I'm
you'll
a
be
nice
flush.
fast car.
Think
Where
of
am I going
all-
to park it?
Think of all the bloody guitars you could get.
Oh.
But you couldn't
now-
play. Could
now
you
there's
play
two
guitar
reasons.
in a houseboat? It
I
would
think
wake
I'd have
everyone
to.
up.
No,
I'd have to
the
streamline from 14 down to 1.
Jim, they're called narrow boats for a reason. Jack's not the smallest guy. They're that big. Jack trying to play guitar in a narrow boat. It's gonna be a contortion. Like,
I mean, my wife keeps saying it's a stupid idea.
I agree.
Also, winter
Danny
on a
talks sense.
houseboat. Winter on a houseboat
Hell.
doesn't sound fun.
Hey, it's got a diesel night heater.
And diesel is going to use up all your money because have you seen how much diesel is? It's nearly £2 a litre.
You've not thought this through.
Yeah,
You're just
right.
thinking about the dream of this, Jack. You're not thinking about the logistics.
Yeah. I think I want to go and live on a houseboat on my own.
Yeah, that would probably makes sense.
And there we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
this
the
is the actual dream, isn't it? The solitude of.
Mm.
Although I'd probably get sick. I get really bad seasick. I don't know if you get seasickness on a canal, but I think I probably could.
Jim, you get everything sick. You get roller coaster sick, seasick.
Yeah.
You get like standing sick.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't get travel sick on any other kind of.
Were you a sickly child?
Oh, now we know who the
Not
sickly
really.
child on the podcast is.
I think it
No,
was.
no,
Jim.
this is the only way to find out. This is the only no. This question will define whether you are Jim. When you went on school trips, did you put those bands on your arm, like to slow your pulse down? One. Okay, second question. Have you ever had, still don't know what it is, grommets? That's the old classic. Oh, he's had to have grommets. He's had to have grommets.
Yes, there was always someone who had to have a long time off school because of grommets. But it wasn't me. I wasn't that sickly. I just I got on roller coasters and canal boats, which are two, I know, very different things.
Right.
But everything in between is like,
And
Hold on.
bicycles.
Hold on.
And bicycles.
I'm
But
also-
other than that,
oh,
I'm
no,
also
no,
gonna-
I'm no good at riding bicycles, but I don't get sick.
I'm also going to chime
Yeah,
in and say, Jack, I believe he was a sickly child because they didn't have modern medicine then.
Yes,
didn't have a
yeah.
didn't have a cure for polio.
Yeah, I just had to go to school with leeches all over me.
Put some brown paper and some vinegar around a grazed knee rather than a plaster.
In those days, they didn't give Jim glasses. They just gave him like sticks with pictures of eyes on. That's how medicine works, right?
Come on, Jim, say something so we know when.
Moving on. Let's move on.
Right,
Then.
let's-
Move on. So this is another one from one of the Dadsnet groups. Okay, so my toddler keeps saying, "Look, a face on the sofa," and pointing to where it apparently is. Then he said he doesn't like the face. What do we do?
Oh my God, Jim, have you ever watched Rusty Spoons?
No. Are you saying
have
that to
any
me
of
like
you
because it's an
Salad-
old person?
salad-
Salad
fingers.
fingers. There we go.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
your voice there. If you were just a little bit higher, I could have sworn that was the salad fingers. Have you never seen it, Jim?
No, I don't know
Oh,
what
okay,
you're talking
well.
about. This is like when
Yeah,
I'm talking about King Ralph. This is what you.
I like Rusty Spoons. You never. Oh well. Okay. Anyway.
I've seen.
Side
I
note,
remember
sorry.
a hype about it, but I don't really know it. I know it was Brad. It was a guy, an old friend of mine. That's equally as nerdy as you. That showed me salad fingers. No, it's a proper YouTube hype, that though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it
it
was
was,
like a
it
real
was.
viral video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely appalling animation, appalling sound design, appalling music, but people.
That's
loved
what the
it.
internet loved then.
Yeah.
Jim, on the scary kid thing, did I not tell you that Jackson did this to us recently? Like, we were walking
Really?
through a graveyard in Beeston. Like, you cut through in Nottingham to go to Beeston is like a lovely graveyard that you can just walk through. And it was early on a Saturday morning. There was nobody else in there. And Jackson was going, "There's the man, Daddy, the man, Daddy." And then he goes, "Mama, look, the man." And there was nobody in the
That's
frick-
weird.
Yeah, I know. Like, it creeps me out a bit, to be fair. And I just picked up the pace on the old cut through. So
like the only freaky bit similar to that I had is I remember when Cole was a baby and he was in his room in the cots and Shay's gran had just recently passed away, and all of a sudden he was kind of looking up to the ceiling and giggling as if someone was pulling funny faces at him. and I was watching it on the baby monitor, and then he never did it again. And it was just like one of those, holy shit, was like some being just go, "Woo," as they do before they bugger off to heaven. That's what you do. You play a last little prank on someone out.
Well, that's it. There are certain people who can't pass a child without doing a funny face, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it can't even pass on the way to the other side without going, oh, hang on. Where's my finger?
He's talking about fingers again, isn't he?
Yeah.
So just because I can do this now.
Oh, nice.
So we're now looking at salad fingers.
Salad fingers. Here we go. Okay, this is
And I should be able to play it.
Hello. I like rusty spoons. I like to touch them.
There we go, Jim. That's what we're talking
I
about.
mean, it was quite close to that, wasn't it? I mean,
it was,
It was,
Jim.
yeah.
I'll give you that, Brad. Good hearing.
fair enough. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, I like we can do that, guys. It's when Jack accidentally flicks over to what he was last watching on porn. We really need to watch out for that feature. Careful, Jack.
Oh, that's going to happen in the next few weeks, no doubt.
Well, let's just say thank God I'm not in charge of it.
Yes, yeah.
This is Loose Dads from Dad's Net. Join us every Tuesday night, 8:30. We're going to be live on YouTube and on the Loose Dads. Come to the Loose Dads Facebook group, because then we get all the joy and the glory from getting people. The other Dad's Net stuff's great, but come to the Loose Dads group on Facebook. Just search Loose Dads Podcast and you can watch us, but you can also listen wherever you get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher. Is that one of them? That's one of them, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, but like Jim says, definitely get on a Facebook page. Come on and start a conversation. We'll have a chat with you. Get involved.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to compliment me one time, then that'd be great, because
That's fine. And if you've got any
You have
classics
had
that
a
we've
compliment.
forgotten about, like salad fingers, that you want to recommend, go and post them on our Facebook page. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Jim, I would just like to say you were one of the first to get a compliment. If you remember one of the very first comments we had about the podcast, someone said that they could listen to your voice every minute of the day.
Yeah, but
yeah.
what have people done to me lately, though? I mean, I want one tonight.
You're only as good as your last compliment.
But
Yeah.
I haven't. I've never wanted to big you up with this, but my wife thinks you're the funniest.
Oh, well, there you go. I mean, it's a low bar, but I will definitely take it.
I liked Danny Jack. I thought she had good taste, but we've
I
learned
mean,
it all now.
when he spends his life nicking Gary Delaney's stuff, I mean, what do you expect?
Hey, evening, Gary.
We all know Gary nicks my joke. No, he doesn't. No, sorry, that's not what I was saying.
Go back and listen to the episode when Jim lowballed Gary Delaney.
Oh, just search Gary Delaney because it was in the title, wasn't it? Anyway, this is Loose Dads. We're back next week. Tell a friend about this podcast. Get them involved as well, and make sure you give us a review at the important places. Apple Podcasts is the big one. 5 stars and a lovely comment would do us nicely. Thank you. And then other people can find out about it, and we won't have to keep pestering you to do it. So that sounds good, right? Thank you very much to Jack.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you to Brad.
Thank you very much, guys. And I would just like to say I do agree with Danny. Jim is the funniest.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
You're off my Christmas list too.
I think he had his fingers crossed. It's okay. And thank
At
you
least-
to Spark.
Thank you, boys. Good first live one. I had this at the start. I forgot to use it, so I don't want to waste it. Hey, it's a celebration. Thanks for listening.
So did I just cut off a punchline where you were going to knock me down again, Brad?
No. I was actually just going to interject and say, because Jack said I was off of his Christmas list, and I was like, but I was the first to wish you happy birthday. But I was like, hopefully that balances things out a little bit, But hey, okay.
Well, don't start
Sparky
that, Brad,
missed the
because
day entirely.
Jim never got any happy birthdays when it was his birthday in the WhatsApp group, if I remember right. Did we say happy birthday to you, Jim?
I don't think you did, and I had COVID as well, so it was the
Oh, yeah.
worst birthday.
Oh.
And of course, I forget, sorry, because you're the older one, you hide your age. So at 35 again. Happy birthday, Jim.
Right, let's go. This is Loose Dads. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Loose Dads, a Dad's Net original podcast.